All right, Phil, take it away.
Uh, all right, guys, we are live. A little bit of a different setup tonight. And as always, nothing comes easy.
Progress is always difficult at times.
It really is. But here we go, guys. We are indeed live and ready to rock and roll. Man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about tonight, Larry, and for you guys out there that's watching the show tonight, some recent developments that took place today. And in case you guys have not heard, we're going to update you on what the latest ruling is that affects the Class 5A semifinals. And we're going to take a look at all of the playoff games that will take place this Friday night. But first of all, let me welcome in Larry Godwin, a.k.a. LG. Larry, thanks so much for all your hard work getting us on the air. We're doing it with a little bit of a different look tonight, but I'm glad to have Larry on. Hopefully, we'll have Larry on many more times through the rest of these playoffs at least.
Yeah, Phil. So we're trying something a little bit different, trying a little bit of new technology that actually simplifies things for us so we can communicate with folks, a lot more real time, I guess. And then it allows me and other folks that are more remote to join your show on a more regular basis. So I'm excited about this experiment that we're doing.
Yeah, me too. We're doing it on a little bit of a different format. Normally, we do it, and I'm not going to get you guys in the technical jargon, but basically, we normally do it by way of one streaming service here at ITG Next. But we're using Larry's host streaming site that he uses for the Viking Nation and any other live streams that he does. So, and let us know what you think. I'll be honest with you, I like the setup so far. It really looks clean, looks nice, and other than some audio issues that we had, everything is working out fine. But I think that was more or less on my end. So anyway, let us know what you guys think about the new look that we've got. Always big thanks to Dr. Kevin Collins. You see Dr. Kevin Collins on the screen there. Houston Clinic, Dr. Collins, team doctor for Colquitt County and Valdosta State University. Is Valdosta State University still playing football, Larry?
I believe they've been knocked out. I think they were defeated a couple of weeks ago by Albany State in the first round.
Wasn't sure if that was the elimination game or not. I did see where they lost. But anyway, Dr. Kevin Collins, he's been a longtime sponsor of the show, very loyal, and we appreciate Dr. Collins, one of the best orthopedic surgeons around, and big thanks to him. So, well, Larry, I guess we'll start with the breaking news. And Larry, you and I didn't really get a chance to talk for the show. Are you familiar with what has happened here, the latest?
Yeah, I heard or at least read a couple of articles about it kind of took us by surprise, Phil. With Gainesville and Langston Hughes will be playing this Friday night. So I had some questions early on about whether or not they're going to be able to play with their full slate of players. And I think that's going to be the case, right?
Yes. All the players will be available to Gainesville, all 34 players. Their suspension is, for lack of a better word, suspended.
That's right.
They're just kind of in what's the word I'm looking for? Well, again, it's just sitting there in animated suspension. Is that what they call it? Anyway, they'll be available Friday night. What happens after that still remains to be seen. But for right now, which is what everybody's kind of been, trying to figure out, all 34 players that were suspended will be available to Gainesville Friday night. And I got to be honest with you, let's cut straight to the chase. I think they're going to need them. I think this Hughes game, and this is what I want to do. I want to get back to the nuts and bolts here, guys,
right.
Because there's been so many distractions, Larry. It's really taken away from the game itself, which is a battle of two really good 5A football teams.
It really does, man. And Phil, this is going to be a battle. And, in a normal game, without all the extra stuff that we've been talking about for the last week and a half, it was going to be a tough game for both teams anyway. But do you think now with the extra stuff surrounding this, do you think there's more pressure on Gainesville?
Do I think there's more pressure on
Gainesville for winning this game?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there is. In fact, I think what has happened over the last couple of weeks is probably going to have, and I know this is crazy, I think it's going to be a benefit. And it's certainly not how they would have wanted it to be. But I think there's probably been so much frustration, so much anxiety, anticipation. I think Gainesville, that's going to work in Gainesville's favor.
You think so?
Now, yeah, I do. Now, I'll be honest with you. There was and I said this last week, I was worried that it was going to have just the opposite effect. I thought that maybe there was so many distractions that they were, Gainesville, let's face it, Gainesville's been talking about, has been faced with appeals,
Yeah.
suspensions, will we play? And Larry, somewhere down that list on like 1 through 5, at down around 8 or 9 is prepare for
That's exactly right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
So,
so
so
this so
yeah, so it's
this
going to be interesting. But I think since then, I'm sorry, Larry. I know we got some audio issues. If I talk over you, I apologize. But I think I think now with the news today and it coming on Monday, it's going to give Gainesville a full week to reconnect, to get ready, to reset, basically, Larry. And is it going to be enough to defeat Hughes? Because I think they are one of the top 2 or 3 football teams in the entire state. And so
absolutely.
it's going to be a tall task.
That's right. Larry Thompson has a pretty good comment. I think his comment expresses the views of most fans out here. Now, Phil, I'm going to show you something that we can do with this new platform that we got. Check this out.
Okay.
We can actually highlight these comments and put them
Look
up
at
on the
there.
screen.
Look
So
at
Larry
there.
Thompson says, we're just glad our Hornets get to play at TCC next Thursday night. Go Hornets. I think that's the expression of every fan in the state. They're just glad to get to play now.
Yeah. By the way, Larry Thompson Jr., what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Larry and his company sponsors of our Roswell Coaches Show with JT Thompson, which, by the way, we hope to talk with Coach Thompson tomorrow. And look, Larry, I really think that JT Thompson is a candidate for Coach of the Year. I told him that. I've said that on my show. I've said it on this show. I've said it on my Friday night show.
Mm-hmm.
What he has been able to do with this Roswell football team, coming down the stretch, those huge wins, Larry, against Gainesville,
Right.
Milton, just big wins, big time games, and his first year. And I had predicted that he was going to be bringing this style, this
Right.
up tempo, utilizing. I think Coach Thompson does as good a job as anybody utilizing the talent he's got. He did that at Lee County, Larry, and he's doing it now at Roswell.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Phil, is this how jazzed up do you think Thomas County Central is for this game? Because remember, what was it, a couple of years ago? They had a big lead on Roswell after the first half, and then Roswell comes storming back, and it was almost like TCC was helpless in stopping the Hornets. And so now Roswell comes back down to Thomasville, and it seems like a rematch from a couple of years ago.
Good point, Larry. I think they say time heals everything.
That's right.
And I think it's probably that's going to be the case here. I think, it's been, what's that, 2 years?
I think so, yeah.
2 years removed since Roswell came down. I don't know. I will say this. I know that, Thomas County Central really got up for Coach Boone in their game a few weeks back. Well, of course, he's now with Northside Warner Robins. But I think a different situation than what this one is. But I really wouldn't put a lot of stock in what happened a couple of years ago. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
2 different teams, one different coach, different players for the most part. But I tell you, I picked Roswell to beat Milton.
Okay.
I picked Roswell to beat Gainesville. They beat both of them. And Roswell has certainly had its doubters this year, and I'm not one of them. I've been really high on Roswell. Again, I like Coach Thompson, saw what he done at Lee County and what he's been able to do. They just got that certain spark, Now, of course, Thomas County Central, I think, again, they are, in my opinion, if not the best 5A team. They're certainly one of the top 2. I think I think it's Thomas County Central. I think it's Hughes, Roswell, and maybe in that order.
Right.
Okay. But there's not a lot of separation. I don't want anybody to think, hey, man, you picked Roswell as the third best team. Well, it's very, very tight. And I have said this all from the very beginning, Larry. I think Class 5A is the best overall classification in the state. And you got three teams that, look, it's more like a 1A, 1B, and 1C type situation.
Yeah. So it's pretty clear on who Michael Baxter thinks is going to end up winning the state championship. He says that I think Roswell goes on to win the state championship.
How about that? Larry, let's take a moment and go through our comments. What do you say?
Yeah, sounds good, man. Sounds good.
All right, Walt Taylor. How's it going, Phil Jones? Walt, what's happening, brother? Stephen Tate. Evening, Phil. What's up, Steve Tate? Big buddy of mine. Larry, you remember Stephen Tate, right? Oh, there we go. Good move, Larry. Getting those comments in here. I like that.
There we go. How about that?
There we go. There we go. I love that. Armand Rashad, LG and Phil, happy Monday. Real quick, do you remember what Stephen Tate did for us, don't you?
I do. I will never forget what he did. He kept us out of the rain and cold, man.
For those of you that don't know the story, what was it, 4 years ago?
Something like that, over in Pierce County.
Over in Blackshear, Georgia. Larry was going to join me on our Friday night game of the week.
Yep.
And we were going over to call the Pierce County, Appling County game for the Region 1AA title.
Yep.
That's when we had was it the remnants of a hurricane or a tropical storm, one of the two, that was coming off the coast, and it was blowing hard there in Appling County.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Appling County, in Pierce County, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that Joker worked a long time on putting up that fence, and not fence, but that tent. And guys, when I say that he went above and beyond, Phil, to try to put up one of those pop-up tents in a stadium bleacher, that was incredible.
Guys, so let me go back to the story. And look, I'm a big believer in prayers. You pray, and I remember as the weather forecast, we had decided to do the game on that Monday. Well, about Wednesday, you could tell things were going to be bad. And I will never forget, God, please show me a solution. Please bring us a solution, God, please. And 30 minutes later, roughly, Stephen Tate sends me a text.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Phil, what kind of plans do you guys have to stay out of the rain or something like that? And I'm like, well, Stephen, it's funny. You should ask. We don't. I said, do you have any suggestions? And he said, I can help you. And he did. And as Larry just said, he put a pop-up tent together there in the stands. He almost did it single-handedly.
Right.
And we stripped what do you call it? We tied it. What do you call the plastic ties? Zip ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put the zip ties, anchored this thing to any available post and the bleachers, like Larry said. Kept myself, Larry, and our cameraman, Brandon Pham, who was with us at the time. Brandon was running the camera. Me, Larry, was on the call, and it was a driving, blowing, hurricane force winds the whole game, driving rainstorm. But Stephen Tate enabled us to do the game. Stephen, we'll never forget you, man, and we'll mention that every chance we get.
Brooks Carter says, good evening, Phil and LG. Michael Baxter, good evening, Phil and crew. Rosser Sutherland says, hello from Marietta. Guys, where are you? Where are you guys?
Keep going, Larry.
What's that?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Philip Williams says, were you able to do the interview with Roswell today? Roswell head coach, Phil.
No, we're going to try to do that tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. So Gabe Garrett, evening, guys. Toombs checking in, leaving y'all's area, heading back to Big Toombs, Herb County. You're on the clock. That's what Gabe says. Herb County, you're on the clock. That's Shane Lassiter country, right?
That's it. Larry, and I want to ask the folks out there too, and don't worry, guys, we're going to get down to the games and talk about, who's going to do what and y'all's predictions, but is it just me, or has there been more trash talking on social media than we've ever had before. It just seems that way to me. I don't recall this level of, you know, fans trashing each other's, fan bases. And yeah, there's always been some pretty good friendly jabs. Okay.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned hate, but done in a very tasteful way. But I don't know, guys. I'm just seeing some stuff that it kind of bothers me, to be honest with you. These are high school kids we're talking about. It's high school football. Is it important? Of course it is. Are we passionate about it? Yes, we are. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it sure seems like we're having more trash talking going on between fans. And I don't know. What do you think, Larry? And what do y'all think?
Well, it's definitely there. Social media makes it very, very easy to do that. And you're right, it does seem to be ratcheted up every single season. I mean, I started noticing a couple years ago, and that's why I stopped engaging in those football groups because that's usually where it starts. And now it's spilling over to just regular social media. So, you're right. People are starting to see it as a sport, man, being able to not just talk about, Phil, I remember the good old days when Georgia and Florida would play, and I've got a lot of Florida fans, and we trash talk, that kind of stuff. But as soon as it's over with, we're friends again. But,
Right.
Social media, it's not the case nowadays, man. People hating on each other 365, 24/7 now.
Yeah. All right, so guys, let's get into some nuts and bolts. Let's talk football, and why don't we just start again? Excuse me, in Class 5A. So here's something else to consider, Larry. So right now you've got Rome.
Yeah.
Rome just sitting out there. Rome is going to play. Well, I guess they're waiting on to play the winner of Langston Hughes and Gainesville.
That's right.
Okay. So let's talk about Gainesville and Hughes first and foremost. I've kind of given my opinion. I think Hughes is the better team. And they, for the most part, have been removed from all of this litigation. They've been removed from the distractions. That I think is going to serve them well. But as I said at the beginning of the stream, guys, I think Gainesville is going to have something to benefit. I mean, it's been us against them against the world. They've got a chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to come out and really want to take it to Hughes. And I think they're going to take their frustrations out, on Hughes, although it is going to be about the GHSA. And they want to prove that they belong. Anyway, I think there's a couple of ways of looking at this. I think if you're just taking away all the distractions, all of the innuendo, et cetera, you look at talent versus talent, us against them, mano a mano. I think Hughes has a slight edge in this game. What do you think, Larry? And what do you guys think?
Yeah, so if you take a look at the Max Preps rankings, not just the classification rankings, but the overall programs throughout the state of Georgia.
Which is what we do now with our top 25.
That's right. So, Max Preps has Hughes as the fourth highest ranked team in the state of Georgia across all classifications. They only follow Carrollton, Buford, Grayson, and then Hughes. That's pretty strong. That's what Gainesville's got to overcome. But here, Phil, the Red Elephants are not too far behind them. They're ranked number 8 in the overall classification ranking system. So it's going to be a strong game. I still do like Langston Hughes in this game, though.
Yeah. So I was going to say, so our ITG next all classification top 25, which I put together every week. I've got Buford as the number 1 team. I've had them behind Grayson. But you got to remember too, guys, Grayson was not only the general consensus of, you got to remember too, ITG next, we submit our top 10. We do the classic top 10. Got to remember us, ITG next, AJC, Georgia High School Football Daily, Max Preps. Who else is it? Score Atlanta. I think there's 6 of us. And all season long, we've all had Grayson as the number 1 team. Now, Grayson has also been the number 1 team in the nation through about 3 national polls.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how big that win was by Carrollton. But people are asking, well, Phil, why didn't you put Carrollton at number 1? They beat the number 1 team in the country. Well, that's not how that works. Obviously, they take a few steps, giant
Right.
leaps up. But I think I have Carrollton. I don't have top 25 in front of me, but I'll pull it up. I think I have Carrollton now at like number 4 or 5.
Yeah. Phil, do you think now I want to ask our audience as well. Going into this season, Carrollton, they lose some really, really good high profile players,
Mhm.
right? And did you guys expect them to be this good at the beginning of the season? I expected them to be good, but not this good.
I didn't, and again, I thought that losing Juju Lewis was going to hurt a little bit. If you'll remember, there for a long time, Carrollton had a 2 quarterback system. Now, I
Hmm.
think that they have settled on the one kid, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys, can somebody help me out there with that, please? I know that they had the young man that moved in from South Carolina, the transfer, and then they had, and again, his name escapes me, Cipher. Somebody help me out, guys, with the Carrollton quarterback situation. Bottom line is, to answer Larry's question, yeah, I thought they would struggle a little bit just because of the quarterback situation being a little bit unstable. However, and let's remember one other thing, Larry. Unfortunate situation.
Right.
Kamari Farmer, the 4-star running back who was Carrollton's run game. Remember, he gets arrested before the season starts. Indicted, he and one of the Bowden players gets arrested for indicted for I think it was murder, a
That's
charge,
right.
allegedly. So when you lose Juju Lewis to graduation, you lose Kamari Farmer, your best running back. Yeah, a lot of people doubting Carrollton. Now, I'm not saying they were going to put him off the top 25, but still, obviously, it was a big loss. But Cam Wood, the young man that went wild the other night against Grayson, had a big game. He's one of our ITG Next top performers this week. He has stepped in and has done an amazing job. Mason Crosby, I think, was one of the quarterbacks for Carrollton, but I think he has given way
Holtzclaw.
to the other young man.
Mason Holtzclaw and
Mason
CJ
Holtzclaw, I'm sorry.
Cipher.
That's it. Larry, are you able to refresh the comments? I'm not able to for some reason.
Refresh the comments. Let me take a look. Let's see.
I can't see them. As long as if you want to read them, that's fine. But
Now, guys, you'll have to bear with us. We're using this new technology. Phil, on your computer screen, are you not able to see the comments?
I was there for a while. If you stack our pictures on top horizontally,
Yeah, so
I can see them. But
you
right
should still
now,
be able to.
our two images are vertical.
Yeah, so you should
No,
still
I'm
be
sorry, I got that backwards.
horizontal.
Right now they're horizontal. When you stack them vertically, I can see the comments over on the right side.
Yeah, you still should be able to see it. But this is
There we
what
go.
you're talking
Now I
about.
can see the comments.
Okay.
Yeah. Luke Nelson is in the house. He's Big Buford, aka Big Buford. Says Cam Wood is that guy. Indeed, he is. By the way, from what I understand, Cam was pretty close to Kamari, and I think was able to stay away from some of the trouble that snuck into the program there. Good for him. And in the meantime, he benefits from the loss of Kamari Farmer. All again, very unfortunate. I get that, but he's been able to step in and become their premier back. It's hard to imagine him being a backup to anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Larry?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by trying to figure out why you couldn't see the.
Well, I can see him now.
Yeah. So
Jeremiah J.G. Garrison says C.J. Cipher won over 100 national games in a row and a few battle championships in youth football. I understand it's youth, but most of these kids are Trojans now. Not surprised in their success. So there you go. C.J. Cipher and Mason Holtzclaw, the two young men. And guys, are they still platooning at quarterback?
I don't know. If you take a look at these stats, you would see that CJ Cipher is no, they're I guess they're almost even as far as passing.
Yeah, last time I checked, they were both doing pretty good in the stat category. So anyway, I thought that was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from a high school football team, Larry. What Carrollton was able to do to a very, very solid Grayson football team.
Yeah. Carrollton dominated that second half. There
They
was no
did, didn't
doubt
they?
about it.
Yeah.
Just total domination.
So, Larry, let's move on and talk about how about Marist in the other big upset. North Oconee had not lost in 2 years. Remember, back at the first of the year, I had said this was going to be, I thought this was going to be the year of the repeat. Okay. Meaning this is going to be the year I thought North Oconee was going to repeat as state champion, Larry. I thought Grayson was going to repeat. I thought Bowden was going to repeat. Toombs County was going to, you see, and on
Yeah.
and on. Now, I still believe Bowden, Toombs County, but obviously Grayson out of the picture.
Now,
Milton and 5A's out of the picture, Larry.
did you pick North Oconee
Yes.
in 4A? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you've got three in the three largest classifications, 6A, 5A, 4A. Those state champions obviously are out. What a season this has been. I talked about, by the way, that I thought that I talked about all the trash talking that goes on off the field with the fans. But on the flip side and on a more positive side, Larry, I think we have been treated to the best high school football that I can remember. And Larry, I think I brought that up to you a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Well, this has been a very, very good season. That's for sure. And I think it's getting better and better. And so, Phil, this is one of the reasons why, if you take a look at what Marist is doing this year specifically, they really illustrate this whole notion of fans, especially hyper fan bases. If your team loses early, especially a preseason scrimmage or maybe the first game of the season, like Marist got shut out in the first game of the season against Jefferson, 19-0. And then they go on a run.
So did Bowden.
And Bowden gets big. So you can't really put too much stock in those first couple of games, just because especially if you got a new roster or young kids, these are high school kids and they have the ability to get improve in a hurry from week to week, right? Yeah. And so they get hot at the right time, and you just never know what's going to happen. And Marist is just another example of that.
Yeah. Guys, you are watching Extra Point with Phil Jones, and Larry Godwin is my guest. Larry basically is, for lack of a better word, the host, at least by default tonight. And we appreciate Larry stepping up and helping us out on the technology side. I really like this look, by the way. I love it, Larry. And thank you for your help tonight in more ways than one. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem at all. Listen, Phil, I'm gonna actually change my title here. I think you're gonna like this.
I love it. All right, so we're talking about 6A. All right, let's go to 6A, and why don't we talk about? Of course, we've been talking about 5A, pretty much. Let's talk about 6A, and oh my goodness, what do we have here Friday night? Buford Gloryland heads south. The Gloryland Caravan.
Okay, so
hits the road south, takes I-75 south to Valdosta, Georgia. I got to be honest with you, Larry. This is a meeting of two of the most iconic, winning, successful programs in the state of Georgia and in the nation.
Do you think, I got a question for you and then our audience in general. Okay, so do you think this kind of represents the new guard versus the old guard?
Yes.
When it comes to high school football?
I do.
I do too.
That's a great way to put it, Larry, by the way. Well put.
Okay, so, all right, here's my question for the audience. I'm going to ask you two exact same questions, but I'm going to ask you to answer it from different perspectives. First of all, what does your head say? When I ask you the question, do you think Valdosta has a chance? Not what your heart wants to happen, but, on paper, do you guys think Valdosta has a chance to win this game when you answer that question objectively? What do you think, Phil?
If Valdosta has a chance to win,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Listen, I think this game being in Valdosta, I think this is probably a 7 to 10 point advantage for Valdosta. Now, I'm not saying that I think that that's going to make the difference in them winning the football game. That's not what I'm saying. I do think, though, Larry, this game being at Valdosta versus being played at Buford, I think it's a difference of about 7 to 10 points. Okay, so in that regard, I think it being in Valdosta is huge. Now, I think Larry in the first, I don't know, midway. How many seconds or minutes are in a quarter? Is it
12
12?
minutes. 12 minutes.
Okay, hear me out, guys. Larry, I think the first 6 minutes of this game is going to mean everything to how
Whoa.
this thing turns out.
Okay.
I really believe that. I just think that whoever can come out and take the lead, and I mean that figuratively and literally, if you can come out, gain control of the game, the line of scrimmage, I think it's going to mean everything. If Buford comes out and they look shell shocked because they're on the road for the first time, and I don't know when. When's the last time Buford played a meaningful playoff road game?
It's been a while. You know why? Because they're always winning their region titles.
Absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
but here's the deal. Even when they did have to go on the road, it wasn't very far,
Good call, Larry.
And so this is a 3.5, 4 hour road trip south into a hostile environment. And so I think now the gist of my question, the reason why I asked it two different ways, Stephen Tate demonstrates why I asked it that way. Okay. So I'm going to put his comment on the screen.
Okay.
He says, now listen to the tone of this comment. He says, not a fan of Valdosta at all, but he says, but I hope they beat the brakes off of Buford. That's speaking with your heart, right?
Yep.
And I think a lot of, if not most fans in Middle and South Georgia would agree with this sentiment. Buford is the new guard. And I heard you say it many, many times in regard to coaches and teams, whatever. People just love to hate on a winner, right?
Yep.
Valdosta has been hated on over the years. Buford now is the new guard. They've been hated on quite a bit. And there's going to be a lot of that sentiment as they, the farther south they go from Macon, they can probably sense it in the air. You know what I'm saying? And so by the time they reach Bazemore Hyder, I think they're going to feel it. And I'm hoping that's enough. I'm going to speak from my heart. I'm hoping that's enough to propel Valdosta past Buford.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of crowd comes out for the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Look, Valdosta draws okay. That stadium is huge. So, I mean, it takes a lot of people to feel that home side. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. This has got the making. I think the Valdosta fans are going to come out for this game. I think you're going to have a lot of neutral fans. That is, fans who are just, fans of high school football, but not necessarily a fan of either team. I think you're going to have a lot of the curiosity type fans that are going to come out for this game, Larry.
Yep.
And I think that, I just think that Buford is going to bring a pretty good bit of people. I think this has got the makings of one of the best high school football matchups that we've seen all year, and maybe in this last 5 years, maybe the last decade.
That's right.
You just don't have iconic programs playing like this.
Yeah.
Because of the distance, like you said earlier. Buford does not lose many coin toss. They haven't had, if the ones that they have, as you pointed out very astutely earlier, Buford has lost coin tosses. They only had to travel, within an hour's drive because, as you said, and Larry, let's talk about that situation. And I've mentioned this a couple of different times. Rush Probst and Jeff Herron. By the way, we got a great story up. I don't mean that because I wrote it, but I think you'll like it. Got a story up about Rush Probst going back to his first state championship in Alabama in 20 years.
Yeah.
And he'll lead Coosa Christian to a state title or a state championship game this Friday at 3:00 Eastern time, 4:00 Alabama time. Anyway, so you've got you've got all the makings for a great matchup in this one. But as Rush Probst and Jeff Herron both told me, for a 6A team, and you got to remember, Larry, this was 3-4 weeks ago I talked to them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both Jeff Herron and Rush Probst said, if you're going to have a 6A football team win or have a chance to win a state championship,
Yeah.
you've got to do two things. You've got to win your region, bottom line. And you got to do something a little bit different than everybody else does. Well, I wouldn't say Valdosta does anything different necessarily. They're pretty much what do they run? A pro style offense? Not your traditional spread offense. I don't think. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But my point is that I think Valdosta balances the run and the pass pretty well. But again, they won their region, and that has given them, and this is not a knock. I don't want anybody to say, oh, what are you talking about? It has given Valdosta a very manageable draw in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah. So Phil, I saw this coming.
I saw you smile there. I can't wait for you to tell me what this was.
I saw this coming about midway through the regular season. The way that Region 1 6A was shaping up. And so, I saw the brackets that the GHSA had published and the first round matchups in with Region 1 and Region 8. And then you saw the subsequent weeks after that. And I started making a big deal of this on the Viking Nation about halfway through the regular season. I said, listen, whoever wins Region 1, the number 1 seed, has got a very, not easy road, but a very winnable road all the way to the semifinals where they match up with probably Buford. But if you're the 2nd seed, then you're probably looking at maybe a 2nd or 3rd round out, depending on how hot your team is at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're a 3rd seed, you're going to be bounced out quickly. And if you're the 4th seed, 1st round out. And that's exactly the way it played out. And so it really came down to Lowndes against Valdosta in the Wintersville Classic, last game of the regular season. And it was basically, we were playing for not just a region title, but where Valdosta is going to be this Friday night in the semifinals. That was the importance of winning the region this year. And it really lends credence to what Rush and Jeff Herron was saying all along.
Yeah, 100%. So again, if you don't have all the talent, win your region, be something different. Yeah. All right. So what are the comments? I'm looking for the comments, Larry. I can't see the comments.
All right. Let me go back and put up there. Let's see. All right. So these are the latest ones. Larry Pope, I think he's a Valdosta fan. He says, wouldn't say struggle. They was up by 3 to 4 scores twice in that game. Not exactly sure who he's referring to there. So this, the only problem is it shows the most recent comments first. Let me just go back and take a look at some of the previous comments. We'll get all this figured out. Don't worry. All right. So I got to put this comment on the screen, Phil. This is funny. This is from Jeffrey Rowland. He says,
Big Will Robbins guy.
He says, Valdosta fans will flatten the Buford tires when they stop at Buc-ee's in Demontown.
I love it.
Luke Nelson says Valdosta absolutely has a chance against Buford Friday night. We don't take anyone lightly. That being said, we got dudes and we are deep.
And I can second that as a guy who's fairly familiar just because of what I do, which is cover the entire state of Georgia, what we do here at ITG Next. I've been to 2 Valdosta games, including the one against Walton Friday night. By the way, had a chance to talk with the Walton head football coach, Daniel Bruner. What a great gentleman he is. And I don't know, did you guys see Walton's sideline setup?
No.
They had, you know how teams will put up the tents?
Yeah.
For the position group meetings, right?
Yeah.
They got the tents, they got the TVs, they got the medical tent. Walton had this is the big bucks coming through here. Walton had, it was like their own tent city from the west end of the field on the sideline
Yeah.
all the way up to the very first white box area where the team
Is that right?
congregates. That's a long, what is that, about 40 yards?
That's a lot of tents.
You should, I took a picture of it and
Holy
I'll post it.
moly.
It is unbelievable. I think it was like 6 or 7 tents back to back to back. But anyway, very impressive program. I commend them for what they did. And you got to remember, Larry, Walton was a 4 seed. So Valdosta has faced 2 number 4 seeds, and they faced Brookwood,
Yep.
a solid number 2 seed. But my point being, Valdosta has, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They struggled a little bit. The game the other night against Walton, I thought Valdosta really had it in control. It should have never gotten close as it should have.
That's right. Well,
Steve Reynolds, and I think Steve Reynolds just touched on this, Larry, if you want to read his comment.
So I put his comment on the screen. He says Valdosta struggled with Walton, who's having a subpar year by their standards. Y'all really think they're going to beat Buford? Okay, so let's talk about that for a second.
Yep. And I think it's a valid comment, Larry.
It's a valid comment, Phil, but it discounts a team getting hot at the right time, because they not only played well against Valdosta, but look who they knocked off in the first round. A number 1 seed in the McEachern Indians, who were having an outstanding year.
Yeah.
And so they get a very winnable game in the second round in East Coweta, who was a third seeded team. And then they go to Valdosta, and now they're starting to feel more confident. So Walton's one of those teams that they have the talent, that if they get hot at the right time, and that's exactly what they did. Now they did benefit from untimely Valdosta miscues. That game was put away late in the fourth quarter, which made the score a lot closer than it should have been. Valdosta's they got fourth and, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, something like that, and they do a quick kick. And the guy kicks it into the back of a Valdosta player. It careens off of him, and then the Walton guy scoops and scores. I have never seen a quick kick result in a scoop and score touchdown.
Oh, my gosh. That's what I'm talking about, and I think that's what Steve Reynolds is referring to. Look, Valdosta cannot play that way against Buford, or it's going to be over.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be over real quick. But I think Valdosta really too, I think played that same way against Tift County. And yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Tift County, but I thought the Valdosta, maybe played down a little bit to the level of their opponent. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think, I think Valdosta, and I've said this from the very beginning, I think Valdosta has got the talent. I've said it from the very beginning. I think they got the best talent in the region. And man, when they focus and get clicking, they're very tough, as they have proven.
Yeah. So Phil, Stephen K. Wynn's got a question for you. You ready for this?
What's that?
Stephen K. Wynn's got a question for you. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Right. Okay.
He says, "LG, is Phil going to suit up in his Buford Wolves gear on Friday?"
Oh, man. Is that Stephen Tate asked me that?
Stephen K. Wynn.
Oh, Stephen K. Wynn. I got you. It's possible.
Phil.
It's possible.
I am looking, since this is Buford, right? I'm looking for you to be on that sideline Friday night and just happen to be strolling through Buford territory but on their sideline with Valdosta gear on, checking out their tents.
Hey, I got away with that once before on the Buford sideline. Larry has told the story before.
Oh, my God.
How I meandered with Lee County garb on, how I meandered over to the Buford position group meeting and walked right over to, I think, the offense that was seated around, listening to the offensive coordinator at the time. And I completely forgot about having my Lee County gear on. And Larry comes running over and says, Phil, go, we got to get you out of here, man. You're in Buford. You're in the most Buford players and coaches.
Guys, the way Phil describes it is pretty accurate, but it was even funnier to see in person. Phil and I, we're up there doing the sidelines thing. We've actually got a video camera walking around doing some videotaping for highlights, right, for the ITG Next website. And so, we're doing on both sides, and so Phil's got his Lee County hooded sweatshirt on, and so we just happen to be walking around the Buford sideline, and we're trying to get from one end zone down to the other where we think the action is going to be. So instead of walking all the way back around to Lee County, we just go on down the sideline. There's usually nothing wrong with that at all when you're part of the media, right? As long as you keep on walking. But we're walking, and I'm thinking, where is Phil? And I turn around, and Phil is like, he's going up to like this tent, like it's a carnival tent, and he's about to buy some popcorn. He's like, Phil, what are you doing, man?
I had all the Buford players again in a position group meeting, it looked like. But yeah, Larry bailed me out there, thankfully. I may not have ever been able to get out of there alive.
Do you know what's the most surprising thing about Walton's
What's that?
game against Valdosta this past Friday night? The number of rushing yards that Valdosta allowed Walton to get Friday night.
What was it, Larry?
Walton gained 237 rushing yards. Wow. In addition to 185 passing yards. So that's a lot of offense for a very good Valdosta defense.
Well, it really is, Larry. I just, again, that's the things that they cannot go into Buford that way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure not Coach Al, but Coach Felton, you can bet he's going to drive that home to them in practice this week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to hear. We've got some Valdosta fans on the line in the comments section. Larry Pope, Smitty, other Valdosta fans. You guys were probably there for the game Friday night. What was your take on the Valdosta defense? Were you guys surprised at how Walton was able to move the ball against Valdosta? So some of these other comments, Phil. Larry Thompson says, with TCC versus Roswell game rescheduled for this week, you'll probably see a lot more fans make their way over to Valdosta Friday night.
All right. So Rashad White is asking, are you picking against Langston Hughes again? I don't know. Now, I'm probably going with Hughes in this one.
Yeah.
Probably going with Hughes in this one. We talked about it earlier. Hughes, I think has had the least amount of distractions. I think they've been able to do nothing but focus on the game, whereas Gainesville has had a lot of distractions. And it'll remain to be seen, which team that's going to affect. So in case you guys have not heard, if we got anybody coming into the show late, it was announced late, or I should say earlier today, Larry, late in the afternoon, statement came out after a video Zoom meeting, just like what we're having here without being a meeting, really. We're just, doing a live streaming podcast. But late this afternoon, or I should say earlier this afternoon, in a Zoom meeting, video conference, it was decided that the Gainesville Langston Hughes game would be played this Friday night. And it would include all of the suspended players. They will be allowed to play. And that's 39 of them, I think it is. And also, they are going to be all available. Every one of them going to be available for this game. And that'll be the only 5A semifinal game played this Friday. Thomas County Central and Roswell will not play this week.
Okay.
Both semifinals will be scheduled to be played next Thursday. Okay. So there we are. That's your update on the 5A situation.
Next. Hey, Phil, if they're going to allow all the players from Gainesville to play, do you have a sense of why they're moving forward with the appeal?
Why they're doing what?
Why the GHSA's is moving forward with the appeal? Aren't they still going to appeal it?
Who are you talking about now?
The GHSA.
Yeah. So the appeal is still in fact intact.
Yeah. So if they're going to allow the players to play, Why not just drop the case? Is there a reason why they're moving forward with the appeal?
Yeah, I mean, I think that and again, now please understand, guys, I'm just simply answering Larry's question. I'm not taking a stance on it one way or the other, but I think the GHSA wants to see this through. They want the punishment to go through.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Guys, this is just a personal opinion based on nothing else. Why I think they're moving forward is I think they're trying to preserve their enforcement power.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think that's a great point. Look, the GHSA has been made out to be a scapegoat in this thing. I think there is culpability across the board.
Yeah. There's a lot of blame to go around.
Yeah. All right, guys, you're watching Extra Point. Phil Jones, Larry Godwin in with me on this Monday on a week. We're coming off, of course, the Thanksgiving weekend, but man, it has been an incredible week, last 10 days or so of high school football that I got to be honest with you, the Thanksgiving break really didn't do a whole lot to stabilize things.
That's right. Phil, listen, Jose Badia is giving me some sound advice. I'll put it on the screen so y'all can see this. Check this out. He said, Jose says,
my man.
As much Valdosta fans on here, LG, you probably need to jump on the bandwagon. Viking fans won't punish you, Larry. He is saying, Larry, you are behind enemy lines. Go ahead and jump on the Valdosta band. Listen, I don't have to jump on any bandwagon. I sincerely hope that Valdosta wins this game because I'm from Wintersville, right? Yeah. They beat us fair and square, and they are our standard bearer moving forward. So I hope they win.
Yeah. So Rashad White, I'm probably not going to pick against Langston Hughes. I'll just be honest with you. But we'll see. We'll see. Brooks Carter says Mac Foster Jr. I certainly read that. I don't know. Always tough to come in these conversations like this. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Todd Daniel says Walton had 6 tenths. Okay, there we go. I knew it was a bunch.
Hey, Larry Pope's got this interesting comment about the Buford-Valdosta game, and I'll show it. I'm going to disagree with him slightly and agree with him at the same time, and I'll explain. Okay, so Larry Pope says he's a Valdosta fan. He says trenches will be deciding factor against Buford on Friday. I agree with him 100%, but at the same time, Larry, I will narrow it down even more. I think what is going to win this game is going to be Buford's offensive line against Valdosta's defensive line. Why do I say that? Because Buford is what? Buford is a run-first team first.
Yep.
They have to have a successful run game, even to have a successful passing game, because they are a play-action passing team first and foremost when it comes to
keep going, Larry.
All right, so Larry, that's why I said I agree with you 100%. I think the battle's going to be won in the trenches, but I'll narrow it down even more than that. I think it's going to be 80% Buford's offensive line versus Valdosta's defensive line. So does Valdosta have the studs on that front 5, front 7 to stop that? Because, guys, you know it's coming. Buford tries to run downhill behind their pads, and they're going to dare you to stop you. They almost play in modern day football. They play as much old school ball as you will ever find. I think that holds them back sometimes, in my opinion. I think they probably need to modernize their offense a little bit more, but they've had a lot of success playing the way Buford plays. It's Buford ball, right? They're going to be a run first team first. They're going to get behind the pads of those gigantic, Jolly Green Giant offensive linemen. And they're going to dare Valdosta. Are you man enough to stop us up front? If they can, Valdosta's got a strong chance to win this game. Because here's what I'm talking about. The Valdosta offense, for the first time in a long, long time, their passing game is just as potent as their running game. So if Buford slows down or stops Valdosta's run game, Valdosta is talented enough in their passing game to win it with just their passing game. I mean, their quarterback is very, very good. Even when you put a lot of pressure on this guy, he's got very good escapability and he's got very good mobility. what? And
Ring
it's
the
like,
bell, baby.
ring the bell, time to move on. What was that, Phil?
That was my glass bottle of Coca-Cola banging the lamp.
Yeah.
It's
So Larry Pope
incredible.
says, you don't think Valdos's offensive line will have their handful with Buford's studded defense line? I do. I just don't think it's going to be as important as the first setup that I'm talking about. And I think I went on to explain that, Larry, and that is if Buford controls Valdos's offensive line in stopping the run, I think Valdos's passing attack is just as lethal, that they can still continue to move the ball if they're forced into going all pass, if you will. That's the only thing I meant by that. Okay,
All right, so what were you talking about there, Larry? Trying to get caught back up.
Yeah, so I was talking about the keys to this game. Larry Pope, as I read on the screen, he thinks the key is going to be the trenches, both on both offensive and defensive lines for both teams. And I said I agree with him. I think there's going to be slightly more battle between or importance of Buford's offensive line against Valdos's defensive line. I think that is the key to this game. Just because if Buford stops Valdos's run game by dominating the trenches, I think Valdos's passing game is just as lethal this year as their running game has been in previous years.
Guys, let's talk real quick. All right, so we got 6A. So we've got Valdosta, Buford, and over on the other side, we have Carrollton and North Gwinnett.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, by the way, I talked to Rush Probst yesterday.
Oh, that's a big topic today,
Yeah.
too, because I've seen all kinds of articles about Rush Probst.
Yeah, well, you should see ours. We were one of the very first ones to post an article that I had him interviewed.
Yeah.
So he and I, he talked to me and I interviewed him. And so it's included in the story. By the way, guys, you got to check out my story on Rush where I talk about, him leading a team to the Alabama state championship game. It will be his first trip to the Alabama state title game in 20 years.
Yep.
Okay. Now, but Larry, hang on. So the last time he went to a state title game overall was in Georgia when he took the 2018 Colquitt County Packers to the state title game where they lost to Milton by a point. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, but here's the one we've all been waiting for. I asked Rush, what's going to happen after this year?
Is he coming to South Georgia, Phil?
Larry's face says it all, man.
Is he coming?
So I said, Rush, what do you plan to do after this year, win, lose, or draw? He said, I'm going to give it about a week. I'm going to talk to the people at Coosa Christian. He said, if they want me to stay, I'd love to stay. He has no plan. He doesn't have any desire to leave. He did say that next year's team, their numbers, by the way, here's the thing about what Rush is doing. Their numbers are dismal. I mean, they have like 14, 15 kids that, really, that play. I think there's 20 on the roster. Larry, they'll play a Lynette team that's got about 20, 25 kids on the roster. I'm sorry, 35 kids on the roster. Anyway, so there's a little bit of uncertainty about next year. It could be big time rebuilding year. And when you're talking about a roster of only 20 kids, that can mean the difference between, winning a state championship or going winless, right? Now, Larry, I asked Rush, I said, what are your plans? This is what Rush told me, and you guys can read the rest of the story in my story that's up at ITG Next. He told me, he said, Phil, I've got 2 grandbabies in South Georgia, and I miss them, and I want to see them again, meaning I want to spend time with them.
Yeah.
He said, South Georgia is home. That really surprised me, Larry, because I have said before, and I've mentioned this before, I just felt like actually for Rush, Alabama is home because it is. It was home to him. It's been home to him longer than Georgia has, right?
That's right.
Okay. So I really was surprised to hear him say that. You can tell Rush has a very fondness in his heart for South Georgia. Mm-hmm. Some of that, Larry, may be getting away from some of the distractions over there in Alabama, which has plagued him. We've talked about that, some of the ex-wife situation, all that. Anyway, it could be a myriad of things, but I think that's right up there at the top. But he did mention that, hey, after the season is over, if I've got an opportunity in South Georgia, I'm definitely going to take a serious look at it. In which, by the way, Rush did say that he has had about 3 or 4 good opportunities presented to him. And he's going to have to wait and see. Didn't say if any of those were in South Georgia, but he did say he would very much like to come back to South Georgia. So there you go. That's the Rush update.
Yep. Hey,
And
Phil, I got to
Yep.
step away from the camera 1 second. Be right back.
Okay. I'll keep it going. All right. So, guys, what do you think about Rush? Will Rush come back to Georgia? It's certainly a possibility. We will see. But first things first, he'll be leading his Coosa Christian Conquerors football team into the Georgia high school class. The Alabama high school class 2A state finals over at what do they call that? Protective Stadium. It's the home basically where University of UAB plays. So they're in Birmingham. So going to be hosting. Going to be interesting to see if Rush can win his first state championship that he's in 20 years in the state of Alabama. What a great run Rush has had. I'm pulling for the guy. I don't care what you guys think. I know a lot of you people say a lot of things, bad things about Rush. Listen, Rush is a heck of a coach. He's not a bad guy. I know a lot of people like to paint him as a bad guy. He's not. He's done some things. We've all done some things. And so don't try to play the holier than thou card. I don't like that. Okay. You're a sinner. I'm a sinner. Rush is a sinner. We're all sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. I promise you that. Okay. So do not judge people. Don't do that. Who's going to judge you? Anyway, to get back to it, Rush is a great football coach. And look, this is by far the smallest team that he's ever had. Rush is used to dealing with, rosters of 100 plus kids. But anyway, we're going to see what happens. Larry and I were talking about the other 6A semifinal game, North Gwinnett and Carrollton. Do not dismiss North Gwinnett. Okay. And Larry, I was just finishing up the story on Rush.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was going to wait till you got back to finish talking about this. So you got to remember, Rush still keeps up with what's going on in Georgia. Rush thinks that North Gwinnett has got the team. Larry, you saw him up close and personal in that second round playoff game between the Vikings and the Bulldogs. What were your thoughts on North Gwinnett?
They're big, they're fast, and very talented. Sometimes you get some Metro Atlanta teams that are big, but they just don't have depth, or they're big and they don't have excellent coaching or elite coaching. North Gwinnett's got a great coaching staff. They're big up front on both sides of the ball. They've got very talented skill players and a very good quarterback. And you know what they did against us, Phil? They have the ability to execute very well their trick plays. Phil, they did a hook and ladder with a 300-pound offensive tackle.
What?
Let that sink in. They threw a pass to a wideout. And you guys know what a hook and ladder is, right? They throw a pass to a wideout out in the flats, and our guy comes in, our DB begins to tackle him, and the guy pitches it back to a 300-pound offensive tackle that's running right by him, and he picks up another 10 yards. I have never seen a 300-pound lineman involved in a hook and ladder. But they were pulling out all the stops.
Okay. So we've got North Gwinnett, Carrollton. I know most people probably aren't going to give North Gwinnett much of a chance. Is that game at Carrollton, by the way, or North Gwinnett?
That's a great question. I have to look it up.
So while Larry looks that up, so it's going to be North Gwinnett, Carrollton, and then on the other side, of course, going to be Valdosta and Hughes. This will be Valdosta's chance to get back to a state title or a state championship game for the first time since when, guys? So was that 2016?
It's going to be at Carrollton.
Okay. Well, I tell you, here's another thing. Larry, I talked about how I thought this was one of the most entertaining seasons that we have had that I can remember. I guess, what do y'all think? I mean, just with the parity, North of Coney goes down, Grayson goes down. Who's the other defending state champion that has gone down? Milton.
Who?
Milton.
Yeah. Milton went down early.
So we had 4A, 5A, 6A. So you had the three highest classifications of any state champions out, which again, remember, I called this the year of the repeat champion. That will not happen in at least the highest three classifications. Now, Carver Columbus, I think Carver Columbus can beat anybody in the state. I don't care what class they're in. That's just my opinion. They are that good.
You think they can beat Thomas County Central?
Carver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Now, I'm not saying it would. I mean, look, could they lose? Of course. But I think Carver Columbus could definitely play with Tom. I think they play with anybody. I just think they're that good. I think they're that dominant. But anyway, so, all right, so 6A, 5A. So we talked about 4A. So again, North of Coney, they go down. How about that win by Marist? We won't spend a lot of time because I know not a lot of people follow. But Marist, Alan Chadwick, they never get the credit. They don't have the biggest, fastest guys. Yeah, but they've got that discipline. They've got that. What did Jeff Herron said? You got to be different if you can't be better. If you're not bigger and faster and stronger, you got to do something different. That's what Marist does, Larry. They've got that hook and ladder. They've got that. I don't know. They've just got that kind of funky offense. Yeah. Okay.
There's another.
And so that's what is getting it done with Carrollton. I mean, I'm sorry, with Marist.
Yeah, there's two 4A teams that I think can play with any team in any classification. I don't know if they'll beat them, but I think they can compete with any team in any classification. That's both Creekside and Benedictine.
Yeah.
Well,
I tell you, Benedictine. Go ahead, Larry.
I had a chance to interview Creekside's head coach. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. But
Creekside, you say?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, they took it to a team out of Texas earlier this year, and lost to them pretty badly last year. So the team came to Creekside this year, and Creekside put a whooping on them pretty bad. And so I interviewed that head coach afterwards as part of our national high school football coverage. And Phil, his stated goal is to become a national powerhouse.
Creekside.
That's what he wants to do for that program. He wants to be recognized as an elite national program.
Well, remember, last year, Creekside got beat by, was it LaSalle? Who's the California team that they beat this year?
This year?
DeSoto?
I think they beat a Texas team. Might be DeSoto out of Texas.
DeSoto?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 2 years ago that Creekside got beat like 60-0 by somebody?
Oh my gosh, bad, yeah.
So you fast forward a year later, and that same team got walloped 60-something to nothing. I think it was actually worse than that. That's a pretty significant swing from one year to the next, right?
Yeah, so this year they beat DeSoto out of Texas 70-28.
That's crazy.
And so let's see. Last year they went out to DeSoto and lost 70-0. So you're talking about a 140-point swing there in what's 2
I've never
seasons.
seen anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I don't know, man. Hey, I forgot to ask you when you were talking about Rush a while ago. So, and he expressed his desire to come back to South Georgia, call home. And I believe him when he says stuff like that. But knowing that the programs in South Georgia that are open, which ones do you think are the best fit for Rush?
I think Bainbridge is a good fit. I don't know.
That is the first one that came to my mind, Bainbridge.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
You know why I say
Why
that?
is that? Why?
Because
access to the Florida players.
Rush has an effect on not as soon as I say this, people are going to jump on the recruiting bandwagon and start throwing that out. That's not what I mean at all. Rush is one of those coaches, as well as others. As soon as he joins a program, he's got such a reputation of developing players that players are going to want to transfer into his program. And Bainbridge is one of those schools located right on the Georgia-Florida line that you can easily see a lot of players from the Tallahassee area want to go up to Bainbridge to play for the guy. So I think that's why I think Bainbridge has this natural cupboard of talent to begin with. But when you start talking about the proximity to some larger cities like Tallahassee that you could pull talent from, I think it's a great fit for someone like Rush Groves.
Yeah. So as far as any other programs, I don't none really come to mind right now. But again, we have found it's a long off season. I can remember being at Lee County's last game last year with Coach Dean Fabrizio and Coach JT Thompson when Lee County went to Milton and lost in the semifinal. And you never really didn't think then that that would be JT Thompson's last game as an offensive coordinator at Lee County, and he would be going on to become the head coach at Roswell just a couple of months later. So, things can happen and develop pretty quickly. So we're going to see what happens, Larry, in the deal that you're proposing. So Brooks Carter says, I certainly read that in an article today that seems to be his desire. And I guess this was Brooks Carter talking about Rush. Mm-hmm. But what's open? Bainbridge, Irwin County. What's up, Brooks? Appreciate you checking into the show. All right. So let's talk about who else we got in 4A. Again, I got to be honest with you. The North Dakota game, that was a shocker to me. I really thought North Dakota was going to be on their way to a repeat state championship in 4A. Obviously, that will not be the case. We talked about Benedictine. Larry, what Benedictine was able to do against a very good Central Carrollton team tells me that Danny Britt has got those guys zoned in, man. I think this deal with Marist is going to be some kind of ball game to watch, but I think Benedictine is going to get it done. I think they're going to win. And then Creekside. Now here's another team, Larry. I know you're talking about. And they're going to play Kale, who you're familiar with. Yep. Kale came to Lowndes, and Lowndes beat up on them pretty good. But Kale's playing a really good brand of football. Kale was one of the 5 teams back in the preseason I said to watch for. Kale, McEachern.
Yep.
Who were the others that I said? Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who were the 5 teams? I can't remember. Anyway. I don't know. Kale's got a good football team, but I just don't know with the way Creekside is putting up points if anybody's going to be able to stay with them.
Yeah, Kale is one of those teams that they'll play anybody, I think. And when they play Lowndes early in the season, after that game, if you're a Lowndes fan, you walked away thinking that's a really, really good ball club. And I think Kale benefited more from that game against Lowndes than Lowndes did against playing Kale.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And so, and I think that was the moment where they knew they could compete with any team in the state. And they just got better and better and better as the season went on.
All right, let's move on to 3A.
All right. Who we got in 3A? We got Jefferson against West Lawrence this Friday night and Sandy Creek hosting LaGrange.
So, there's a lot of teams I have no idea about. Just to be honest with you. I'll say this: West Lawrence has got this running back. Have you guys heard about this West Lawrence running back, Ty something? And I hate that when I don't know can't remember his name. Is it Ty? Somebody help me out here, guys. It's West Lawrence running back. Is it Ty Cummings? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out now, but it's Ty something. But he is, I think he may be the state's leading rusher. This young man has been playing out. I mean, unbelievable football. I keep using that word, but I don't know what else to use. What's his name, guys? Help me out here.
You talking about running back for West Lawrence? Stephen K. Wynn says Ty Cummings.
That's it. That's what I thought. Yeah, Ty Cummings. Just a heck of a ball player. But by the way, speaking of a heck of a ball player, Rush over at Coosa Christian. Rush has got a super sophomore who is Mr. Is going to be in the running for Mr. Alabama football. And he is he's only a 10th grader, and Rush said of all the players he's coached, he's the best 10th grader he's ever coached.
Phil, have you seen the stats for Ty Cummings?
Huh?
Have you seen the rushing stats for Ty Cummings?
Not recently. I mean, it's got to be astronomical, isn't it?
He's got, on the season, he's got 213 carries for 2,557 yards.
What's that, about 10 yards a carry?
12 yards a carry.
Wow.
Averaging about roughly 200 yards a game. You know what his longest run from scrimmage? 99 yards.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And again, Larry,
the kid's fantastic. He's got 10 100-yard plus games on the season and 30 rushing touchdowns.
Wait a minute. He's got how many 100-yard plus games?
In 13 games, it just says he's got 10 100-yard games.
Unbelievable.
Now, if you think that maybe you can explain it away by looking at the schedule. Maybe they played some bad teams. So here's who they've beaten this year. Okay. So Groves, which okay, they're not a very good team. Groves High School.
Okay.
So they beat North Clayton, then Howard, then Cross Creek, then Harlem, then Baldwin, Ark, Hepzibah, Aquinas, Westside, Beach, Oconee County, Jenkins, and now they play Jefferson. So yeah, so if you question their medal, I would say it's a legitimate question, right? Because given the teams they played, so we're going to see this Friday night when they go up against Jefferson, and Jefferson's a high quality team.
Yeah. You're watching Extra Point, guys. Yeah, we're going to go a little bit longer tonight. We got a late start. So we'll take the show a little longer tonight, past our normal 7 o'clock time. So join in, tell your friends. Guys, by the way, I want to encourage you guys, if you don't mind, please be sure to follow us all of our platforms. Please be sure to follow me on Twitter at, I think it's at Phil ITG Next. But just type in my name in Twitter and you'll see it come up. I hope you guys will follow me there on Twitter, X, if you will. And let's get this baby going. Nobody covers high school football like we do, guys. That's all we do. High school sports. That's all we do. We get a little bit of college in there, but other than that, it's all high school sports. Is all we do. All right. So, all right, Larry, we were in what classification?
We were in 3A, I believe.
All right. So Jefferson's going to play West Lawrence. Again, it's a matter now where it sounds like you're depending on one young man. That's Ty Cummings at West Lawrence. And on the other side, you've got Sandy Creek and LaGrange. That's going to be a really good matchup. I look for Sandy Creek to win that game.
So you think it's going to be Sandy Creek and Jefferson in the state title game in 3A?
Yeah, I do.
I do too. All right, so take a look at 2A. In the semifinals, you've got Sumter County hosting Hapeville? And Carver Columbus hosting Burke County. So who you got, Phil?
We're at 2A?
Yeah, we're at 2A. So you've got Carver Columbus hosting Franklin Stevens' Burke County Bears.
Wow, what a matchup. By the way, if you guys have never been to Burke County Stadium, the Bears Den, as they call it, one of the nicer stadiums that you're going to find in high school football. It's an incredible place to play. They've got for a 2A school to have a stadium like they do says a lot. Now, let me see here.
So, Phil, Franklin Stevens has been the head coach there for what, 3 years? This is
Say
his
again?
Franklin Stevens, the head coach at Burke County. He's been with the Bears over there for this is his third season.
Okay.
He took over in 23, went 8-3. Then in 24 went 13-2, and this year so far is 10-2. So definitely trending in the right direction. So he's one of those guys, Phil, that runs a unique wing T style offense as well. And he's been doing it a long, long time, you know.
Got you. All right. All right. So 2A, let's get to 2A. So we're talking about Carver Columbus. I just think, that's one of them games. It's really a shame that those two teams have to play in the semifinals, right?
That's right.
Carver Columbus and Burke County. By the way, the Burke County quarterback is one of our top performers for the week.
Let me ask you a question about this particular game, Carver and Columbus and Burke County. So on paper, can we all agree that Carver Columbus is probably favored to win this game?
Say it again, Larry.
In this game, Carver Columbus is probably highly favored to beat Burke County.
Yeah.
So do testing your testing Jeff Herron hypothesis is a well executed wing T that Franklin Stevens loves to run, is that an equalizer enough against Carver Columbus to give them a chance?
Well, it's a great question, Larry. Great question.
Because Carver Columbus probably does not play very many teams throughout the season, if any, that runs a wing T very well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, so we've got Carver Columbus, and it's probably going to be against Sumter County in the state title game in AA. I'll take that as a yes. All right, so we're going to move on to Class 1 or Class Single A. What was it? Division 1?
Hold on, Larry. I'm trying to. My computer just crashed on me here.
Oh no!
I got a laptop over here on the side. I was trying to look at.
I got you.
All right. So repeat your question.
All right. So now we're in Class Single A Division 1 now, right? So we got Heard County hosting Toombs County, and Worth County hosting Pepperell.
Okay. So first of all, I have never been criticized as much by a fan base for misspelling their name. Man, we misspelled Pepperell, which, my goodness, is like Mississippi. Okay.
Pepperell, don't they sell those meat and cheese dishes during Christmas?
You're thinking of Pepperidge Farm.
Oh, sorry.
Because Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right. Anyway, so Pepperell, listen, having a great season. But here's the thing about it real quick. So people have been criticizing this A for misspelling the name, okay? And I want to answer it all in one. And they've been criticizing us for, now get this, well, you certainly picked the wrong team.
Yeah.
And because they beat Rabun County it was like 31-0. So A, you don't know how to spell our name, and B, you misspelled our name. All right, you underestimated our team rather. Well, in both cases, I came back with, you guys were 2-8 last year. It wasn't like I had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm not trying to knock them. I'm not. I love seeing teams bounce back and make it all the way to the semifinals, okay?
That's right.
But at the same time, it's like I told them, be joyous that your team has won.
Yep.
Don't worry about how we spelled the name. Who cares, okay? So anyway, I think Worth County wins. Larry, I I want to ask your opinion on something,
Yeah.
and I want to get all the folks who are watching the show. I want to get your opinion as well. So speaking of Worth County, I've got Worth ranked pretty high. I've had them ranked pretty high in our all classification top 25. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got Worth County, I think, ranked number 8 or something like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So I guess my question is, should I not have Worth County ranked as high as I do? Now, I'm not going to change my mind, okay? Because my thing is, I just don't agree with ranking schools
Mhm.
based on the number of kids enrollment they've got, which determines how many A's are behind your name. In fact, I often have said, I'm not going to besmirch a team because they don't have a bunch of A's in front of their name.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just not going to do that. If you're a 1A Division 1 team, 1A Division 2 team, whatever, you know, you belong in the top 10. And again, I don't care. I don't care how big a school you are or whatever. That means nothing to me.
Okay.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Again, I've got Worth County, I think, ranked number 8 or 7 this week in the ITG Next Top 25.
Yeah. So, you know, that is a tough one. I understand where you're coming from, and I can see both sides of the argument. And this is my diplomatic hat I'm putting on when I answer this question. Okay.
Gotcha.
So I don't have a problem with ranking teams in all classifications together if a team deserves to play it. Now, the only question I would have, so if you rank someone like a Worth County, and they deserve it because they're 12-0 so far, right? And they're
Right.
blowing teams away.
That's
But
right.
they're blowing teams away in their division,
Sure.
single A Division 1. So if you put them, and that's what rankings are all the time, right? It's just pure guesswork based on what we think a team is good. So if you played a hypothetical game in your mind and you said, okay, so is Worth County better than a Lowndes County? And Lowndes, for the most part this year, was ranked around 5, 6, 7 in Class 6A, right? So in a hypothetical matchup, Worth against Lowndes, would they beat Lowndes? Probably not. Just basically because they don't have the depth to stay to keep up with Lowndes, and they would probably fade in the third quarter. So that would be the only argument that I would have against you ranking someone like a Worth ahead of a Colquitt County or a Lee County or something like that.
Understood. Yeah, I think that's fair. At the same time, here's another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So, Larry, we're going to have 8 state champions this year, right?
Yep.
Okay. Those teams will, of course, represent the top 8 spots in what will be the final ITG Next Top 25.
Okay.
Is that right?
I don't necessarily agree with you, but I get where you're coming from.
Okay. So, and we'll go back to that. So, I feel like, look, if you've won a state championship, you have done what hundreds of other teams have not.
Sure.
Okay. Now, how do I rank? And again, just play along. Okay. And let's say that you're okay with it. You're like, Phil, yes, I agree. Yeah. Now, how do you rank the top 8 state champions? Are you going to just rank you're going to take the highest classification state title, state championship team? Are you going to take them and make them number 1? Are you going to take the next available classification number and put them number 2, and so on and so on? To where if you look at your top 10, or I'm sorry, your top 25, you're going to have, let's just say whomever, 7A, I shouldn't say 6A state champion. Let's just say it's Buford. 5A state champion. We'll say North Cornett. Again, I'm just throwing stuff out here for a reason. So we got 6A, 5A, 4A, whoever, are based on the logic that a lot of people use, which is I should not be ranking a small school above a larger school.
Yeah.
You can see how if you put all those teams together, then and you don't want to have the smaller schools, you know, if you don't want to have them ranked higher
That's right.
than any of the bigger programs, okay, well, that's how do you do that then?
Sure.
So anyway, I just don't believe that at the end of the season you're going to have 6A, 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A Division 2, 1A Division 1, and then private. You follow me? I just don't like that. I don't believe that's the way it's meant to be. Rank the teams that I think who are dominant in their particular classification. And Worth County has been about as dominant as anybody this year. And again, it's in their classification.
I went
Honestly,
to
yeah.
this is probably one of the most objective sites that you can go to, and that's the computer rankings that Max Prep does,
Mhm.
right? Because they do it all based on a formula, kind of like
Yeah,
Lord Maxwell does it, right?
that's right. Mhm.
And so, just a quick scan, because they actually break it out. They have every team in the nation. They have a national ranking, a state all classification ranking, like you're talking about, and then
Yeah.
they break it down to their division or class ranking. So in the division single A, just classification ranking, Max Preps has Worth County ranked number 4 in the state. And that's pretty good. So when you go to the all classification Georgia ranking, Max Preps has them ranked number 54 in the state. And so that's why I would have a tough time, even if Worth County goes on to win a state championship. I would have a tough time including them, saying they're the number 8 or 7 ranked team, higher than, let's say, a Carrollton or a Buford that may have lost a title game in 6A.
All right, and I get you. So let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So right now, with the semifinals, well, we got one quarterfinal game left to play, semifinals, and then of course the finals.
Yeah.
So what we do, they're like the AJC does not do the rankings past the regular season. They stop. Now, we're one of the few outlets that continue to rank teams.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's one of the reasons for that. Like right now, I had to put together our most recent top 25 yesterday. Okay. And boy, I tell you, you want to talk about something that gets people upset? I mean, I get called every name in the book, and I'm okay with it. But here's my thing. I tell people, I'm going to rank the teams that are still playing.
Sure.
Somebody says, well, so you mean that since Grayson got beat, they're not ranked anymore? No. I mean, what am I going to do? Now, until they're going to be, because right now there's enough team to satisfy the 25 slots, right?
That's right.
Now, when it gets to a point where I don't have enough teams, then of course I'm going to rank who I think the top 25 best teams are in the state.
Yeah. So here's the number one reason why I have no problem with the way you rank it. You know why that is?
Yeah.
Because you tell people up front what your criteria is.
Yep.
There are no surprises. You win a state title, you're going to be included in the top 10. I mean, that's your criteria, right?
Right.
But where people really have a problem with, let's say, if it's the college football playoff committee, they can't explain what their criteria is. That's when people get upset.
Good point. That's a good point. There's nothing that becomes more divisive than polls. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you're watching ITG next. Big thanks to Larry Godwin for helping me. We got to we'll go to 7:30. We'll go to 7:30. Larry, you okay with that?
Yeah, man.
So Larry, look at the clock.
I'm getting hungry, but yeah.
That's funny. Well, listen, I mean, you can bail. I mean, we can bail anytime you want. Yeah, I mean, but if you can hang with me for another 13 minutes, then
Let's go for it.
I love it. All right, so I'm not able to see any comments right now. Can
Justin King says, I think they should still be ranked after getting beat, but falls lower every week.
Yeah. Again, now if there's no teams, not enough teams, like right now, there's 25 or more teams left,
Yeah.
right? So my thing, and Larry, what are your thoughts? I find it hard for any team that is still alive
Yeah.
out of the hundreds and hundreds of teams in the state. It's kind of hard for me. It would be hard for me to explain to a team that's still one of the few teams left playing that they aren't worthy of a top 25 spot.
Well,
That's pretty tough, man. Come on.
I think they would understand.
Well, you think that? You really think that?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
telling you.
listen, if you are
Yeah.
a lower class, if you are like I said earlier, I mean, I guess the best way to put this is this.
Yes.
Stephen K. Wynn makes this point, and I agree with him 100%. I'm going to put it on the screen. He says, on a larger scale, hypothetically, Phil, do you know who Ferris State is?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
They are a perennial powerhouse in Division II college football.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And North Dakota State as well. So he says, on a larger scale, hypothetically, it would be like ranking North Dakota State and Ferris State ahead of Notre Dame or Vanderbilt. With the kind of year that Vanderbilt is having in the SEC, would you say that Ferris State, if they won a national championship, should be ranked higher than a Vanderbilt or a Notre Dame? Probably not. I wouldn't think they would be. So that's why I wouldn't say that that Worth County should be ranked higher than Gainesville, who might get beat Friday night, right?
Yeah. Again, college, you have just so much more. You have so much more degrees of separation.
Sure.
I mean, it's like VSU. VSU. Let me explain my point, Larry.
Yeah.
VSU is a Division II national championship powerhouse program.
Sure.
Correct. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're Division II. Right up under Division One.
Right.
Division One, Alabama, let's just take, for example, is a national champion powerhouse.
Right.
Two major college football programs, right? NCAA sanctioned Division One, Division Two. However, I think it's pretty clear to understand that the sea of division is there's a big swath of division there. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's kind of what makes it a little bit different. I'll give you another example. Remember, Toombs County played Rome earlier this year.
That's right. And lost to them, right?
And
lost to them, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but Toombs, it was a very close game for a while, and like you said earlier, the depth took over, or lack thereof, for Toombs County. Larry?
Yeah,
are you
I'm
with me?
right there with you.
Larry, ready to eat. So you see kind of what the examples I'm making here, guys. While everything's relative, I think you still have a lesser degree of overall separation with high school than you do the college, trying to make the college example. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So again, it's just various degrees you have to take into account.
Yeah.
But I understand. Somebody said something here. Let me see what they said.
Michael Vaughn says this. He says, I understand your pound for pound ranking system. He says, I just have a problem with ranking Worth over Toombs. Toombs' only loss was to loaded 5A Rome team. Worth played down single A Division II in all their non-region games, but I guess we'll see soon enough.
Hey, Michael, that's a very valid argument. I'm going to give you that one, buddy. I really do. I tip my hat to you. I concede that. That's a good argument. Yeah, and look, and I'll say this: I'll never say that my poll is not without what's the word? What am I trying to say here? It's not perfect. You know, you can make an argument in a lot of cases for certain teams, and Michael made a very good argument there.
So listen, Michael had
That's a good.
such a
That's a
strong
very valid
point.
argument, Michael. It really is.
Phil,
Go
Michael
ahead.
had such a strong point that he deserves this. Check this out. You didn't hear that, did you?
No, what was it?
That was one of the audio issues that guys were trying to work out. What I did was I pressed the cheer button, and the crowd applauded Michael's
That was a very good
viewpoint
one.
there.
Yeah, hey, it was a great call for sure. So Dominique McKinnon takes a shot at me here.
Uh-oh.
When Valdosta beat Buford, I guess he's saying when Valdosta beats Buford Friday night, how are you going to rank us then? We've been fighting to move up in your poll. You definitely, and I made that point earlier today. If Valdosta wins this, obviously they become a premier program,
Yeah.
highly ranked in the state. Okay. Look, the only reason that I haven't ranked Valdosta higher is overall strength of schedule. Okay. And really more so in the playoffs than the regular season. Okay. Valdosta's run through the playoffs, and again, they deserved it because they got the top seed in 1-6A. So what they got was a pretty easy draw. That's not a knock.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you understand. It's not a knock on it. It's just that's what you want. That's why you aspire to be a number one seed. We've talked about it. That's why Rush says it. And so anyway, you get the number one seed. You get to face the 4 seeds,
Yep.
which Valdosta has faced 2 4 seeds. Anyway, that's why Valdosta hadn't moved up any further in the polls. But again, they take that step Friday night, and they make a gigantic leap in the polls.
All right. So, Phil, I cannot
Yeah.
let this go unanswered.
What you got?
Larry Pope says this. Strength of schedule doesn't matter. Just ask Lowndes.
No.
But I remind Larry that the Lowndes strength of schedule was much stronger than Valdosta's this year. I'm just telling you, man. That's what the way the facts shake out. And that was objective numerology by Max Preps themselves.
All right, guys. So let's talk about before we get out of here. So let's talk about. All right, let's go back to 2A real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, we must not forget about Sumter County.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about how strong Carver Columbus is.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play Burke County. Let's assume Carver Columbus gets past Burke County, which I think they will. That's going to put Sumter and Carver Columbus on a potential rematch in the state championship. Remember, they played back earlier in the year, and Carver Columbus beat them 8-7. Y'all remember that? Or was it something like that? 8-7, 9-8, something like that. Right? Okay. So I think that, one of the most entertaining state championship games potentially we could have, and we all should root for it, that would be Carver and Sumter County. Do you guys know that Will Rogers, head coach there up there in Americus at Sumter County, about 5-6 years ago, he took over a team that was 0-10. They were dreadful. I mean, bad, real bad. But not the case anymore. Okay, real quick, like 1A Division 2, or let's go 1A Division 1.
So you got Heard County hosting Toombs County, and then you got Worth County hosting Pepperell.
I like Toombs and Worth meeting for the state championship.
Yeah, me too.
And I like Worth County winning it all.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll close out with the 1A Division 2, Larry.
Yeah, so you have Clinch County hosting Bowden, and then Early County hosting Lincoln County.
Oh, my gosh. Guys, did y'all just hear the football teams that Larry just spat out there? See, this is again why you don't start focusing on small schools and forgetting small schools and they don't belong in the top. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, you've got Lincoln County. Okay, you've got trying to see here on my little laptop. So that Clinch County Bowden game, do y'all understand how big that is? You've got two of the best coaches. I mean, Rich Finley for Bowden, great human being. Rich Finley is, and oh yeah, he happens to be a great football. Do you realize, Larry, what Bowden is going to be trying to do?
Do I realize what now?
Do you realize how good a coach that Rich Bowden is? Or I'm sorry, Rich Finley is at Bowden?
No, huh?
Rich Finley has, he's led Bowden to, 3 straight state titles. Going to try to make it 4 in a row. And now you're starting to get into very elite territory. Okay. You haven't done that a lot. So that's a first. Could be coming up for Hoover. I'm sorry, for not Hoover. I was looking at something with Rush here. You're looking at Bowden trying to become a 4-time state champion. And then again, on the other side, you got Early County, and it's a shame, really, that Clinch and Bowden aren't meeting in the state finals. That's a shame. But it's the way it is.
So how good of a job has the Clinch County head coach done? Coming out of retirement.
Say again.
How good of a job has the Clinch County head coach done? Coming out of retirement and leading this team back to glory, basically.
He picked up right where he left off.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I mean, can you just think about this? He's been out of coaching forever. Been, hunting and fishing, and I mean, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, here he is, just he's picking right up where he left off.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So anyway, I think we got some good ones, and then finally in private. And here's another situation where everybody wants to overlook private. Don't forget, in private, you've got Hebron Christian and Greater Atlanta Christian. By the way, here's a resurgence of Greater Atlanta Christian, the Spartans, Larry, out of Norcross. You remember Greater Atlanta Christian? You heard that team forever and ever. Well, they have made their way back up to the top. And what a great job. I think it's Tim Foley is the head coach there.
Yeah.
All right. Then on the other side, you've got
Fellowship Christian hosting Calvary Day
School. By the way, Fellowship Christian, way, way back at the beginning of the season, Fellowship Christian was number 1 in a particular category for me. Do you remember what it was?
What's that?
Toughest schedule in the state.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They deserved it. I mean, they had them. I think I'm thinking of the same team. Right? I got Milton. Just had to blow through everybody, and they did a great job. So, Fellowship Christian, Calvary Day, Benedictine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Hebron Christian and Greater Atlanta Christian. So those are your privates. Final. All right, Larry. So getting ready to get out of here, man. I'll give you the final word, brother.
Phil, as we close out the show, hope you guys like the new format. We'll polish it up a little bit by next week. But we plan to collaborate a little bit more, and I'm going to put this comment on the screen to close out the show. Larry Pope, he gives us a pretty good compliment, Phil. He says, I know you guys have your own show, but y'all should collaborate more often.
I agree 100%. Larry will tell you, and I'm being very straightforward and honest. I really have wanted Larry to become a part of what I do multiple times. I just think Larry and I really deliver well. Tonight, I had to work out some of the kinks, and you guys don't need to be aware of that, but I'm having to use a 2-tiered sound system.
Yeah, anyway. So in Phil's defense, when he gets a little distracted on the screen tonight, it's not like he's falling asleep. He's trying to monitor things on different monitors, his phone, his laptop, his computer, because everything's not in sync yet. So
yeah, exactly. I've got I'm having to listen. I'm hearing two Larrys. I'm actually hearing myself.
That's right.
Anyway, we got some audio issues, but I have tried to soldier through it, guys. Anyway, well, Larry, thanks so much as always, man. Super show. This is why I love to do the show with you, man. Larry and I just we hit it off, and I love it. And we are talking high school football. And remember, there's going to be one semifinal game in 5A. That's it, and it's going to be the much anticipated Gainesville and Hughes and Thomas County Central and Roswell will not play Friday night.
So they'll play the following Friday night, right?
Thursday.
Oh, they'll play the following Thursday night. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Listen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of Extra Point with Phil Jones and Mr. Producer. Let's not make that stick. That was just for tonight only. It's Mr. Producer stuff. Okay. So you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. God bless you. And as always, go Vikings.
I hear you. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate your help. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Don't forget, like I said, ITG Next Georgia. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and on my Facebook page.
See you guys.